Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are live. I am Adam. This is Highly Articulated. There's a lot of toy news. We're not going to go over all of it. I'm going to go over the stuff that is relevant to me, that I care about. But needless to say, it is an amazing time to be a toy collector. It is also a terrible time to be a toy collector. There is too much stuff, too much great stuff. Not just stuff, right? If there was just stuff and it was like not that good, it would be easy. But the fact is, there's just so much great stuff to buy right now, to pre-order, so on and so forth. To that extent, shout out to eCollectables.ca. That's where I get all my toys ordered. Mike at eCollectables.ca is just like the best dude, for making sure that I get everything that I need in a timely fashion. And that will be relevant when we get to some news later on as well. But let's jump right into it. First up, just want to say hello to everybody in the chat there. Payne's Toy Samples is hanging out. Eddie's hanging out, and nobody else has commented, so that's quick and easy. Perfect. And Payne says, not enough money to go around. Absolutely. Not enough space. I mean, that's honestly, like, my biggest concern is, like, if I buy it, where am I going to put it? Because there's no sense buying it and putting it in a box or a bin or storage, for me at least. That's just how I collect. But yeah, for me, my collection is limited by space. It's easy enough to sell some stuff off. It's easy enough to kind of, for some people to, work a little bit overtime or whatever. But I literally have nowhere else to put anything. The shelves that I do have are all kind of packed. I guess I can sneak a couple more figures on each shelf and hope for the best. But yeah. Andrew Kramer says, try being an international toy fan. International, where are you, Andrew? I'm in Canada, so I am not in the US. So I am, for all intents and purposes, an international toy fan, believe it or not. Because it's exactly that. Exchange rates and shipping. I'm getting dinged with both of those. I'm all my purchases, I have to sort of calculate the conversion rate, look at the shipping, so on and so forth, taxes, duties, all that kind of stuff. So it's a real thing. Like I said, for us here in Canada, at least we have the sort of the saving grace of eCollectables, which is a great online retailer. And he'll basically, if there's something in the States, I can reach out to him and be like, hey, are you going to bring these in? And he's like, I wasn't going to, but I'll bring a few in. And he'll just kind of sell them on to me at very little profit to him, which is pretty awesome. But Andrew, South Africa. Well, welcome from South Africa. Yeah, I can't, I know how it is for me as a Canadian collector. I can't imagine, if I was, in Europe or South Africa, South America, Eldor, Master Versal Toy Hunter, who will probably end up in the chat soon enough, shipping his stuff to New Zealand. I mean, that's bonkers. Some stuff I think is okay. Like some of the big brands are okay. But when it's stuff like, when it's the smaller kind of boutique brands, and that's a lot of what I'm buying, right? A lot of Mythic Legions, a lot of Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, the Defenders of Eden, Armies of Ashmore Kickstarter, which is going on right now. A lot of that stuff it doesn't matter where you are. If you're outside of the U.S., there's a very different landed cost for you and I than there is for people in the United States. But regardless, anyway, shall we get into it? First up, this figure got released, and I absolutely love it. The SH Figure Arts Super Saiyan Goku Legendary Super Saiyan This is basically the Goku as he appears in the Frieza saga, the first time that he goes sort of full Super Saiyan, legendary Super Saiyan, um, and bulks up and gets, you know, extra mean and extra deadly, I guess. This is the Tamashi web page, and the translation. I'll just read this because I read this earlier and I just think it's funny. From Dragon Ball Z, Super Saiyan Goku, whose top half of the body is exposed when her street clothes are torn, appears on SH Figure Arts. That's a great description. And if people aren't, you know, trying to get this figure because of that description, um, I was sort of thinking I would get this. Um, I'm going back and forth. Like I said, there's so much good stuff coming, and so much good stuff coming soon. This is getting a November release, so I may just wait and sort of see where it lands come November. And if I can't get it, you know, I don't know that it's the end of the world. Goku with sort of the ripped clothes is fine. It's a cool looking figure, but when you've already got you know, six Gokus on your shelf, it gets harder to add the latest and greatest one. This one is latest and greatest. I mean, it's got the newest articulation. It's got some of the sort of pants are like some softer rubber, so they move around a little bit better. The head sculpts are amazing. The face sculpts are amazing. I was trying to see if they had the all the faces next to each other, because when they sort of show you that, like, they're really good face sculpts. You get the Kamehameha as well, which is pretty cool. There's not a ton of those in the line. I've got, I think, 2 total on my shelf, and this one looks to be quite a nice one. So we'll see. I mean, it's SH Figure Arts. They're not cheap. It doesn't matter where you are. You know, even if you're in Japan, you're not getting these for you know, Hasbro prices. But speaking of lines that aren't cheap, Mythic Legions All-Star 6 has been fully revealed. There is a ton of good stuff in this wave. I mean, in this line, they're like wave after wave after wave of just incredible figures. This one is, you know, no exception to that. We did a deep dive on this wave, so I'm not going to go too deep. We did a video last night, myself, a couple guys from the Canadian Mythic Legions group, Knights of the North, as well as Trevor, 1/6 Shooter, the official 4 Horsemen photographer, and we went pretty in depth on all these figures. So I'm not gonna go too deep. You know, some of the standouts: Baradak, the ogre scaled skeleton, but he's fully armored. So for me, in my head canon, I'll be honest, he's just an ogre. He's not going to be a skeleton in my head canon. He's absolutely stunning. Just a really great figure. The other real standout for me, at least, and there's a lot of standouts, but for me, Thrasis, the first Risen. So this is sort of the head of the Necronominous army. He's sort of you know, the first field general, you know, answering only to Necronominous himself. And I'm not even a skeletons guy, but this figure is absolutely stunning. You know, they're doing these 3D printed faction sigil shields, and this one is awesome. You know, the Necronominous headpiece here, this sort of cracked clay on the shield as well. Great soft goods by fellow Canadian CJ Jessam, husband and wife team CJ Jessam. Yeah, these and the flag. Now I will shout this out, and I didn't mention this last night. I meant to, and I kept thinking that I should, but it just didn't quite come up. We did this symbol. So this is the Knights of the North. Nate Barch designed sigil. We've done this sigil on a flag like this one, that is available now from eCollectables.ca. They are not, they're, well, I guess they're up for pre-order right now. They're going to look dope. And we got ours first. Ours was the first to market. So that's kind of a cool tidbit. I've got a bunch of those on order, and I really want this now too. So yeah, just an absolutely awesome wave of figures. This is, of course, the All-Star wave. So there was, the All-Star fan vote winners. But they're kind of the boring ones in the wave, if I'm being perfectly honest. The older figures, they don't have the same attention to detail in terms of, paint apps, color variations. The accessories are a little simpler. The sculpts are a little simpler. It doesn't feel like you get as much stuff. So the new ones for me were just absolutely blowing the fan vote ones out of the water, for better or worse. Now there's a lot of people that really wanted, things like Clavian or Bothar, Gorthok. So I'm glad that they're available for people to pick up. But it is what it is. If you're not a completist, I think looking back at those figures from the past, they've lost a little bit of their luster, so to speak, as figures like this have come out, right? For the same price as those very basic looking figures, you get a Templar Knight with full soft good tunic and skirt and cape, alternate head, that sort of 3D sculpted shield, more weapons than most of those other ones come with, extra sets of hands, a new style of pauldrons as well, I believe. I'm not 100% certain on that, but just some awesome figures. But like I said, we more or less went through this wave in great detail yesterday, so I'm not gonna bang on too much about Mythic Legion's All-Star 6. I will say that if you're in the US, they are available to pre-order now for the next month or so, and then I'm waiting till eCollectables puts their pre-order up, which I believe is like the second week of July. I can't remember. Let me see here. It'll be the day after. It'll be the day after the Mythic Legions one closes. So Mythic Legions shop Horseman pre-orders go until Sunday, July 9th. And I'm pretty certain that Monday, July 10th, eCollectables will put them up for pre-order, as will, your local online retailer. Or if you shop in store, I mean, that's cool too. I mean, if that's the case, your retailer will probably be able to sell them to you on July 10th as well. But yeah, that's All-Star 6. Let's just quickly check in with the comments here, see what's going on, and then I will jump back into the next one, which I think will take up a big chunk of our time. Nolan's here. What's going on, Nolan? Allison Troy has joined. Welcome, Allison. Everybody's saying hello. Mythic Dolphin. Got my orders in for Mythic Legion's All-Star 6 and the big order Defenders of Eden, Armies of Ashmore. Only 80 minutes left on Kickstarters for Armies of Ashmore. Order now, everyone. Casper, Spectral Milwick. Yep, absolutely. I will get to that. I'm actually going to close out the show with that because that'll sort of line up perfectly, so that I can gently sort of push people, in the direction of the Kickstarter so that they can quickly get an order in. If you haven't already, if you haven't already, you should probably jump on there now and get an order in. I because I'm doing this, I had to go on before I did this and just double check that I had everything in there, especially the Kickstarter stuff that's exclusive. So that that Casper Albino Trooper and the Spectral Milwick will be Kickstarter exclusive. They've said that the blank bucks are but they haven't sort of repeated that. But I got one of those anyway. I believe they're doing a backer kit though, so if you did miss out on anything, I think as long as you have gotten in on the Kickstarter, you will have access to that stuff. At least that's my understanding. But to be safe, I would strongly recommend, if you want that Spectral Milwick or the Casper, go get them now. I'll do chat for a few minutes. So if you want to jump over there, I don't fault you for that. You could also just open another tab, I guess. But speaking about Mythic Legions, All-Star 6, Trevor says, belt packs, please. I need to update some older figures with those belts. Absolutely. I'm definitely getting one of each, the brown and the black. Michael says, also waiting for eCollectables. Yeah, 100%. I think every Mythic Legions collector orders from every Canadian Mythic Legions collector orders from Four Horsemen once, because those prices seem so appealing. And everybody probably says, don't do it. You're gonna get, the shipping charge, the freight, the duties, the taxes, and then they typically ship FedEx, and FedEx sends you an invoice in the mail after the fact for $85 on top of all that. So it doesn't make sense to order from Four Horsemen in Canada. Makes way more sense to order from eCollectables if you're in Canada. Mythic Dolphin, the Kickstarter exclusives Casper and Spectrum Milwick, only available while Kickstarter is live, not in backer kit. Okay, there you go. So that's what I'm saying. I could be wrong. I would strongly recommend that you get those. That's going to be the only time you're going to be able to get them. So go and get them now. Payne says, updated my Defenders of Eden order to include Spectral Milwick. Yeah, that was my number one sort of most wanted figure. So I'm happy that it got unlocked, and I'm happy that we have access to it. Matt had said that, if it didn't get to 150, he was going to try to sort of work out how to get it to people anyway, because I think he wanted to do it too. But I'm glad that they unlocked it in the Kickstarter, and I'm glad that we can get the get that figure. So Andrew says, so happy everyone is digging Defenders of Ashmore, or Defenders of Eden, Armies of Ashmore stuff. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not a big dino guy, but I am a translucent action figure guy. So that was sort of big for me. So I'm pretty happy to get that. Matt Rodriguez says, no backer kit for Kickstarter exclusives or the blank box, only available while Kickstarter is live. No backer kit for Kickstarter exclusives or blank box. Well, here's the thing, Mythic Dolphin. They keep going back and forth. And it's kind of annoying because, yes, they keep saying that, but even like an hour ago, I was looking at it and they were saying that blank box would be available in the backer kit, but they said blank box wouldn't be available in the backer kit. But I don't know, like, it just, here's what I suggest. Like I said, if you want it, back it now. Back the ones that you think might be exclusives, just to be on the safe side. I think what's going to happen is, if you back them now, you will not, be upset that you back them. If you wait and they don't show up, you're going to be bummed, and you're going to have to pay somebody that was smart enough to back it now. That's how I look at it. I know that I'm going to get hit with shipping. I know that I'm going to get hit with duties, and on and on and on. But I need that big Milwick energy. That Spectral Milwick is just too good to miss. So, Payne says, I got them all. Yeah, you can just do that too. What's going on, Larry? How's it going? Oh, Larry, I'm not a Transformers guy, but I know that Larry is. And I did see the T-shirts for the TFCon Toronto. That Toronto Raptors inspired logo, that looks so good. That T-shirt that's such a good logo. Not related to anything I'm going to talk about, but just because Larry jumped on there, it reminded me. All right, next up, in news, I'm caught up in the comments, so I'm going to move on to the next thing in news. This might be a short episode. I had a couple people that said they might join me, and in the end, didn't. So here we are. Kind of threw me for a loop. It's different discussing stuff by myself than it is when I'm sort of discussing with somebody to bounce things off of. I love having you guys in the comments. Absolutely love it. I appreciate it. All the comments are appreciated. Because it kind of helps me move things along, and like, the back and forth works to keep the conversation going. But truth be told, I did invite Matt Rodriguez on to do the show. I think he's in a movie theater. I think he's watching Spider-Verse. And who knows? Maybe he'll jump on after. I don't know. I gave him the time, and he said he would try. But he was at a movie last time too, and that's why he was late to do the show. But anyways, I digress. What did I want to bring up here? Actually, I'll run through these comments too that were sort of coming in as I was still talking, and then I'll move on to the next. Mythic Dolphin, I back 2 of each figure, 1 of each blank buck, and 2 of each weapons pack, plus some comic items. So I think it's safe to say, Mythic Dolphin, that you are all in on Armies of Ashmore. Payne's toy samples got them all, but he only got 1 head pack and weapons pack. Now he's probably feeling, inadequate right now. Payne says, we're here in the chat. We can bounce things. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Andrew's here in the chat too, so we can talk about South Africa. Yeah, he's watching Spider-Verse right now. He did his little post right before he went into the movie theater. So Larry says, I go see the new Transformers movie tomorrow. Nice. Is that early? I think that's early release, right? I'm planning to go to Spider-Verse on Tuesday, but I'm also doing Legion's Lair on Tuesday, so I gotta do Legion's Lair and sort of hope we wrap up in time for me to shoot over to the movie theater to go see Spider-Verse. But we'll see. Next bit of news, no big deal. It's just Yojo June. So there's a whole whack of G.I. Joe stuff to talk about. On whatever day it was. What day did they do this? Thursday? Was this on Thursday? I can't even remember anymore. It was June, so it got to be June 1st, right? So this was Thursday. We got the reveals of Tiger Force Dusty and the Crimson, the Python Patrol Crimson Guard. These were the reveals through Hasbro, but we've seen pictures of them. Everybody knew they were coming. There was certainly no surprise. And then we got the physical reveals and sort of the confirmation of the Arctic Bat, as well as the Televiper and the Trouble Bubble. I'm pulling these pictures from the Geek Dad Life website. If you're watching this, there's probably a good chance you're going to be watching Geek Dad Life in a couple hours. I appreciate those guys and what they do. Arctic Bat is the sort of, I believe, the only standard release. So this is, well, it's not even a standard release. It is a fan channel exclusive. You get the Arctic Bat with that alternate head. You get that really great paint gradient thing going on the sort of standard bat head, I guess. Is that what we're calling it? And I think that gradient is meant to look like polarization. I think on the helmet there, if I can make it out correctly, and I'm guessing correctly, there's some font there that says polarized, which is pretty cool. A little bit different than the standard bat. I see these shoulder pad kind of things, as well as these leg wrap around bits and a different belt. So it is a different figure than the standard bat. Still comes with the 2 chest plates to go over the internal, mechanics. In this case, though, it has the Cobra logo and then the damaged one as well. We also get the alternate chest piece that looks like it kind of has like ammo pouches or something like that, which I think is pretty cool. And then he comes with this chainsaw accessory hand, which is a pretty cool, alternate hand. I wish it came with like maybe one more alternate hand, because it still comes with the backpack, and the backpack feels really empty without any hands on it. And the sniper rifle too, like, I mean, in a nutshell, I'm not 100% sold on this figure. I feel like an android would be able to like target things pretty effectively and not necessarily need a sniper rifle. I don't know if a bat is the right tool for the job if you need a sniper, if that makes sense. Uh but that's just me. I know a lot of people really like this figure, and it does look really, really cool. It's just I'm struggling to get myself there as a customer to order this. Now, as I was saying, things coming up quick and sort of toys appearing. This figure, at least in Canada, is already shipping. There are people that have this figure in hand. What is today? June 4th. So this was announced on June 1st, went up for pre-order on June 1st, and people have this in hand in Canada. I don't know of other places because I don't speak to online retailers or any retailers in other countries. But I'm curious to see, how quickly the other stuff that we get coming in June ends up in hand. If this one is already in hand in Canada, this one is the Trouble Bubble is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, and I'll come back to that. That was the most exciting one for me. But like I said, Tiger Force Dusty and the Python Patrol Crimson Guard, I think people had these in hand as well. So it's, we got a physical reveal of a figure that is physically in hand in some places. So it seems as though Hasbro's production is sort of catching up to their kind of news cycle, their announcement cycle. So it's kind of interesting to see where this ends up. I for one would love for the pre-order windows to be like, a week or 2 weeks or a month, right? I don't mind pre-orders at all. I'm once I get my pre-order in, I'm happy. I sit back, relax, and wait for my action figures to show up at my door with virtually zero effort on my part. That being said, if they can tighten that up so that, like, the excitement of getting these figures is sort of still in the air as the figures get delivered, I think that's a win for Hasbro. I'm not doing the Tiger Force or Python Patrol stuff either, so both of these were figures that I wasn't too worried about getting anyway. I am looking at Dusty. There is a custom figures kind of kit bash that I want to do, and Dusty's legs would be perfect for it. So we'll see. I mean, if I can get him at a discount, I will definitely get him. But like I said, the figure that interested me the most by far was Televiper, the Televiper, and the Trouble Bubble, or what do they call it? They don't call it that. Hasbro is calling it the Cobra Flight Pod, which I think is the like actual name. I think that's the official name. But let's be honest, it's a Trouble Bubble. Who doesn't call it a Trouble Bubble? I think everybody calls it a Trouble Bubble. So I call it a Trouble Bubble as well, because that's what it is. But anyways, yeah, this is without a doubt my most anticipated from the reveals that we got last week. And I mean, Troop Builder, vehicle as well. I mean, I'm a sucker for vehicles. I'm a sucker for stuff like this. I can't get one trouble bubble. So I ordered 2 from Hasbro Pulse, and then if eCollectables can manage to get them, even though they're Pulse exclusive, because eCollectables does that sometimes, I would probably get 1 more at least, if not 2 more. Let's see what people are saying in the chat about the G.I. Joe stuff. Pains. This month is getting painful, and it's only the 4th. Yeah, I mean, yeah, big time, because the Kickstarter for Armies of Eden is ending. G.I. Joe's releasing a whole bunch of stuff. And don't even get me started on what's coming tomorrow, because I'm going to do a video on that too. So I won't talk about it. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know. But yeah, so there's Armies of Ashmore closing today, G.I. Joe stuff, Mythic Legion stuff, on and on and on. You know, pick your line. Something's come out. It's been an absolute tsunami of news and releases in the last few days here, and it's it's getting to the point where it's overwhelming. I don't even know if I've kept track of all this stuff. There's probably stuff that I'm forgetting, but Payne says love the new head and chest plate about the Arctic Bat. I got 3 on order. Payne's toy samples on Pulse. You can't cancel him, so that usually means he's coming quick. Oh, okay. Yeah. So the Arctic Bat is coming right away as well. Tyler's hanging out. What's going on, Tyler? He says, in relation to the Arctic Bat, mine shipped June 2nd, thanks to the wicked eCollectables. My Arctic Bats arrive Friday. We'll post some pics. Yeah, it's kind of the curse of living on the West Coast, is that even if they get shipped right away, we don't get them for like a week, so. Payne's got 2 guards and 1 Dusty, plus 3 Televipers and Trouble Bubbles. 1 for each head. That's where I was leaning to. The helmeted head, if I only get 2, I'll be okay with that, because I can just do the 2, alternate skin tones, and then just use that other head as sort of an alternate if I need to or if I want to. I went too hard on other stuff. Like, I've got, I think, 5 coil cycles and like 3 rams, maybe even 4 rams. They're not even all on the shelf. I got 2 his tanks coming. I'm going to be back in 2 of the HasLab tomorrow, assuming the price isn't absolutely bonkers. Trevor said, I really want to put a foot soldier in the hover pod. Anyone who played Turtles in Time will know why. Good shout. I mean, it does look very, very similar. I played Turtles in Time last weekend, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Larry says, damn HasLab. I was able to cancel the bats on Pulse, so check again. I know you couldn't first day. Yeah, I think they sold out, and then they kind of popped back in, and then they sold out, and then they popped back in. So they're definitely there on Pulse intermittently. The bats, though, the Canadian retailers, like I said, are taking orders and shipping them. So, if you need them right away and you live close to the US Canadian border, I don't know, might be worth it. Andrew says, we don't get classified in South Africa, like, just at all. That's crazy, man. It's weird. It's weird to think, like I said, right off the top, like, we're close enough proximity wise that we have access to everything. But yeah, it's hit or miss here too. We get some waves. We don't get every wave. We don't get every line. By and large, there's not a lot of toy stores that are as good as some of the stuff that I see, south of the border. It seems like everybody that I know that lives down south, as it were, south of us, not in the south, which is totally different. But people are like, yeah, I just went over to this little toy store, and then, like, I see pictures of this little toy store, this local toy store, and it's bonkers. Like, they absolutely destroy, most toy stores here. We just don't have that many toy stores. the ones we do have are really, really good. Don't get me wrong. There are some great toy stores in Canada, but I think generally we just don't have as many. I don't know why. It's just, and that's maybe just my perception, but um, yeah, don't get any at all in South Africa. Hardly get any Marvel Legends and Black Series either. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's just down to the importers, right? Somebody's just not aware, or is it just not a market? Like, that's weird. So are people just importing them themselves, like one at a time? Can you like, is there a South African collectors group where you guys can sort of like get together and fix that? Maybe. I know that at least, in the US and Canada, there's a lot of collectors that sort of like have enough friends that collect that they open up accounts with like Hasbro or Mythic Legions or whatever, just to kind of sell to their friends. So there is ways around it. I mean, it's not easy, and I mean, I wouldn't be very good at it because I don't have enough friends, but that's that's a different story for another day. We have some guys who run importing business. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's, but then again, depending on who they are, they might be demanding a very high premium for the service, which is unfortunate. Um, a lot of, uh, man, toys are expensive enough. Like I said, if you start paying all the shipping and duties and fees and all that kind of stuff, again, like I said, just banging this drum all day. Um, if I can't get something from eCollectables, I often just pass on it because I don't want to bother dealing with somebody else or dealing with shipping or whatever. Um, Four Horsemen's a good example. Like if Mike can't get me, an exclusive, a shop horseman exclusive, I just don't get it because it's not worth the hassle. I don't need it that badly. Um, but yeah, the trouble bubble. I think vehicles going forward. I think we might start seeing more. I'm confident that given how well most of this stuff is done, it's kind of a no-brainer that they would continue doing vehicles, and the His Tank did really well. I think if this next HasLab does very well, and I suspect that it might, again, depending on the price. But I think if this does well, you know, then there's clearly a market for 6-inch scale GI Joe vehicles at least. I'm not gonna sort of extend that to say that every 6-inch scale line needs vehicles. I think with GI Joe it makes sense. And I've said this before. I don't want all of them. I don't want there to be this thing where there's too many. I think the pace that we're getting vehicles is just about perfect. One every 6 months or 8 months or whatever it is. I mean, we got the coil in year one, we got the ram in year two, and then in year three we got a repainted ram and a trouble bubble. Is that it? That's just the four so far, right? And then the His Tank is coming this year as well. So um I like that pace. Like I said, I'm not going to buy every vehicle just because they make vehicles. I'm buying ones that make sense. This is small enough. It comes with a great figure, so it's kind of a no-brainer for me. And like I said, it's a troop builder, and because it's relatively small, two trouble bubbles is not going to be that inconvenient to make space for. Um, the other vehicles that I would buy multiples of. I would buy multiple Vamps or Awe Strikers, like a Jeep style GI Joe vehicle. I would buy the Thunder Machine, but I'd only buy one Thunder Machine because there was only one Thunder Machine. Stuff like that. So, I don't need a headquarters. I don't need I don't know. I don't need the Cobra the sled thing. Like I don't need just every vehicle because they exist. I want a select few, and I want them to do them well enough that they're successful and can continue to do it. But yeah. Andrew, we still have Toys R Us here. They occasionally get the Legends or Black Series, but a very limited offering. Same with Transformers and Motu Origins and Massiverse. We have Toys R Us in Canada still as well. My question is, if you have Toys R Us, what are they doing not carrying classified? That's bonkers. You're a professional toy. You're like the toy store that should have that. That seems like a weird choice on their part. Larry says Serpentor came with one. That's true. Serpentor did come with a vehicle. That one's tied to the figure, so it's right behind me. I don't know why. I didn't look far enough back behind me to see it. But again, that's one where I only need one. There is only one air chariot, or at least within the lore that I'm aware of, there's only one air chariot, so I don't need another one. But that's a good example. It's another good example of like one that I only need one of. The Vamp, I would only, the Vamp is my absolute favorite vehicle. And if they did the Vamp, I would only buy 2. I don't need 3 Vamps because I wouldn't have enough hands to kind of play with them. So it doesn't really make sense. Jay Wright is here, but he's not. He's there. He's stoned in a bush. Well, Jay. Happy to have you, I guess. Paints Toy Samples, Claw, Fang, Armadillo, Stinger, and Vamp. Stinger, yeah, I'd buy Stinger as well. Claw, yeah. Fang, yes. Armadillo, a shoebox with a little gun. I never really understood the Armadillo. That's not one that I would buy. Jay says Trouble Bubble was my band's name in high school. Stoned in a Bush was my band's name in high school. Larry, 6-inch Terradrome would be big. It would be huge. Jay says flag. They will not do a flag. I don't care what anybody says. There's no way they do a flag. I could see if they were sort of thinking a little bit outside of the box. I could see like a play set that was like the tower from the flag. And then now this sounds hokey, but I genuinely think this would work. They could build the tower, with all the stuff you kind of need that would sit on the deck of a flag. And then they could either give you a fold out cardboard one or just like a paper template, and you could make your own out of wood or foam or whatever you wanted. And it wouldn't be, it wouldn't have to be 27 feet long, right? You could do one that was 8 feet long, which is way too small for an aircraft carrier. But I mean, you could build you could have a table, right? You could have a table that would be like a G.I. Joe Dio slash kind of play area slash storage shelf or whatever, and then have the tower. And it could come with the guy, the captain. I'm totally blanking. I can picture the figure in my head. But anyways, the guy that came with the flag, you could get that guy with that sort of play set. It's small enough to be retail release if need be. The bridge play set. Yeah, that's, yep. Keel Hall. There it is. Thank you. Paints Toy Samples. Jay Wright, yeah, Toy Traders has a mental Terradrome. They actually have, it's like 4 Terradromes stacked on each other. And they've got 2 flags or 3 flags. One is like set up like it's sinking. Toy Traders is bananas. Toy Traders is a toy store in Vancouver, if you're not familiar with it. Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And it's ridiculous. It's like he's got so many toys on display that are like people's grail pieces, and they're just on display. Like they're just there in the store. 3D print a flag is my new adult band. 3D print a flag is your that could be your DJ name. I've seen some of your DJ videos. Anyway, Jay knows what I'm talking about, and if other people know, good for you. And if you don't, too bad. But yeah, Trouble Bubble looks awesome. I think it's funny. So one thing that I think is funny, that's not funny. It's just it makes me think it's funny. It looks like they just mirrored the two heads. Like it looks like the guy's kind of gritting his teeth sort of to one side, and the other guy's gritting his teeth to the other side. I think upon closer inspection, they've probably resculpted it a little bit more than that. But that being said, that's what I see in the picture there. And like I said, the helmeted head is cool, but I don't necessarily need it. 2 Televipers is enough for me. As I said, if I can get more through Mike at eCollectables.ca, I will. But if I have to get them through Pulse, 2 will be my magic number. And following up on those physical reveals and pre-orders, we did of course also get 2 render reveals. We got render reveals for Grunt and the Crimson Viper. Both of them look really, really good. The Crimson Viper, I like what they're doing with the sort of building out a Crimson sub team. The Crimson Twins, Zaymot and Tomax, having their own little unit is pretty cool. To me personally, I don't know if everybody's into it, but the fact that we got multiple figures now in a Crimson Deco makes me want to build it, and it makes me want to build, have like a Cobra Civil War type thing where that existed. But for me, I like that I can get these Crimson ones because they fit within the Cobra stuff more so than the Python Patrol stuff does for me. But it's different enough that it is the Crimson stuff. So this is the Crimson Twins kind of entourage or whatever it is. Grunt looks great. I think a lot of people were asking for like a simple green shirt. I've heard pushback that people kind of wanted a simple green shirt that was unnamed, and they're a little bit bummed that it's Grunt, but I don't know. You got a green shirt, swap the head, put the helmeted head on, do whatever you want. It's there's a green shirt. He just happens to have a name. And his name is Grunt. No, his name isn't Grunt. What's his name? I can't remember what Grunt's name is. Graves. I can't remember what his first name is. Anyways. Cool looking figure. I like that it's just a simple green figure. I like that we're getting the helmet. I love that we're getting the snow job gun. I know the name of it, but it's eluding me right now. I think it's like the XLM 14 or something like that. Like it doesn't have anything to do with snow job at all. So the loadout and his web gear and stuff like that looks pretty good. I think I said this already, but I really like the removable helmet. So I'm excited for these figures. Now Full Force Podcasts did a video that I watched where information that he got a while ago, but his tank kind of did some digging and sort of came up with the release schedule. There's going to be more pre-orders coming up. This guy, we just got the render, but we're gonna get the pre-order this month apparently. Nothing confirmed until it is announced or whatever. But basically every Wednesday, I think it's every Wednesday going forward. So we have the HasLab on Monday, and then I think I don't know if there's another one for this Wednesday, but like the 14th, 21st, 28th, we're getting pre-orders basically, or at least that's what I've heard. So, if your wallets aren't crying already, and Mythic Dolphin mentions 45 minutes left for Armies of Ashmore, they're gonna be soon. Paints toy samples. I'm hoping the Crimson 3-pack and the SDCC exclusive rather than Chuckles. I don't really care. The we're gonna get a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. We're gonna get a PulseCon exclusive. Um, you know, which one falls where doesn't really make that much difference to me. I think if that's what you're saying, like if you'd rather have the Crimson 3-pack as the San Diego Comic-Con and then Chuckles as the PulseCon. Is that what you're kind of saying there? I think that's what you're saying, but I slot them in wherever. I'm getting them all. Jay says Televipers are not allowed to date my sister. I don't. You're okay, Jay. Michael Casper, what's going on, my friend? Yes, Michael mentions that I'm going to be on Legion's Lair Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Go Skillies. I'm predicting that I'm going to be the only guest that they've had that will not get knighted, because I don't think they're going to like my answers to my most favorite and least favorite figures in Mythic Legions. But we'll see. Tune into that. That should be a fun. I think it's going to be a fun chat regardless. We may be shouting at each other by the end, but it'll all be in good fun, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Paints toy samples, yeah, referring to Grunt. Yeah, that's the point of his name, though. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but I genuinely feel that that's true, right? You name one of the soldiers Grunt, and he's just the basic green soldier. It makes sense. Larry says, "Love we get a cartoon saw gun." Yeah, if they did a pack and they just sold me 10 of those, I would buy that, because I love that. I love that gun. It just has that Sunbow. It has so much nostalgia for the Sunbow cartoon. Jay says, I'll try to watch. It's 4 p.m. our time, Jay, so I'm not sure what time you're done work, but tune in when you finish. Or maybe you don't work on Tuesday. I don't know. All right, so that's it for G.I. Joe that has been announced. That's certainly not it for G.I. Joe as far as what's coming. We are, of course, getting the HasLab announcement tomorrow at, I want to say 11 a.m. Eastern, which is 8 a.m. over on the West Coast here. I'm actually going in. I mean, I start work at 8, so I'm going in a little bit early to kind of get myself settled in, get my tea, my cuppa, and get settled in so that I can kind of work while I have that on my second screen. Full disclosure, I've known what it is for a while. I think it's going to do really, really well. I think it's a vehicle that people are going to be really excited about, if it is what I've heard it is. Like I said, nothing confirmed. I don't I take everything with a grain of salt, and I don't presume that anything is confirmed until Hasbro says it. But I have no reason to doubt the source. I have no reason to doubt the information. And it's gonna be good, man. I'm really curious to see what the stretch goals are. As I said, I know I've known what the HasLab is for a while, and I've heard, figure wise, what they're planning. But stretch goal wise and price, I don't know. and so those are the variables that I'm still going to be excited about. So stay tuned for that. Time permitting, like if I can get my act together in time to do a video tomorrow night to talk about the HasLab, I probably will. If not, I will try to do it Saturday night. So either tomorrow or Saturday night. Subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to hang out with me and talk about the HasLab in more detail. As I said, I'm pretty excited based on the information that I know, and I'm just patiently waiting to hear the price, because it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good. Payne's Toy Sample says stretch goals need to be fantastic like the His Tank. I'll be honest with you, the stretch goals for the His Tank, I didn't even care about most of them. I backed two pretty much right away. I knew what we would be getting for that one as well. The His Tank plus the driver, I think, was like the original offering, and that was all I needed. Everything else is, everything else is icing on the cake, right? The chin gun, the turret mounted guns, the missile launchers, the alternate canopy, the gunner, the what do they call it? The engineer, or the whatever, the repainted His Tank driver. And then the Cobra Commander. The two main figures, the driver and the gunner, I'm keeping. The other ones I'm probably going to sell because I quite honestly don't really need them or care for them. Oh yeah, good shout. Larry Reed says a pack of the guns with the retro stands. That would be awesome. Yeah, I would definitely be in. I'd definitely be into that. Midnight here. Oof. That's late. Is midnight now, or it's midnight when they're doing that? No, it's gonna be midnight now. You're 9 hours ahead then. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, the UK is like 8 hours. Anyway, but yeah, Payne's Toy Sample stretch goals need to be fantastic. Knowing what it is, I genuinely don't know what the stretch goals are going to be. I have an idea. I have a few ideas for what they could be, and what I would want to see. But again, the vehicle, like the base offering, I think, if the base offering is priced appropriately, or as appropriately as the His Tank was, which is, I mean, appropriate is a subjective term when we're talking about toys, but if it's priced sort of similarly to how the His Tank was, I think it has a very good chance of funding pretty early. If we stay at 299, I'd be happy. So would I. 299 or 349. That's kind of my range where I'm comfortable. Below that, absolutely. Above that, it gets a little bit. It's just a lot of money. Jeff Morris says, I only want the Coco, not a huge fan of the His Tank. Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people were kind of in the same boat, right? They just only want the figures. They don't necessarily want big vehicles for the line, stuff like that. I'm curious to see what market value for that Cobra Commander is, because effectively we know how many there are. If you know how many His Tanks there are, you know how many Cobra Commanders there are, and it's not that many. So we'll see. I'm hoping the Cobra Commander's worth a boatload of money and I can sell it to make my his tank money back. But yeah, I know what I've already been offered for it, and it's not even been released yet. So um, we'll see. Larry says it's going to be $400. That makes. I hope not. Do you know that, Larry, or are you kind of speculating that it's going to be $400? I wish I knew. I wish I knew. Not that it makes that much difference. It's going to get revealed tomorrow, and I'm going to know the price tomorrow. But it's kind of one of those things where the longer I have to kind of process it in my head, the better. But Larry says, I'm guessing. Okay. I'm genuinely hoping that it's no more than 350. But who knows? I mean, Hasbro gets some of the HasLabs really right and some of them really wrong. And there is a very small part of me that is extremely nervous that they'll get this one totally wrong. Ugh, I hope not. Last item, last news item. There's about half an hour left on Armies of Ashmore Kickstarter. This is, if you're not familiar, this is a like 6-inch scaled line, or kind of 6 to 7 inch. They're in that Mythic Legions, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, Masterverse kind of scale. Dinos though, so they're between 8 and 11 inches tall, just depending on which figure you get. You can see the 5 main figures there. Obviously, the Milwick, the long neck there is the tallest, at I think just under 12 inches. I think it's about 11.5 standing straight up. And I think Kuzo, the Ankylosaurus, is the shortest at 8 inches, just because of how his head sort of sits relative to the Triceratops, that are just a slightly taller figure, just because the neck is different. And then, like I said, Milwick is the tallest. But just really, really fun. I think they're very much in line with Masters of the Universe stuff, as far as color, as far as deco, as far as style, as far as just the overall vibe of what they're doing with Defenders of Eden. If you haven't yet, even just pop over there and drop a few bucks, just to let Matt know that you sort of appreciate the line. If you can't get in right now, maybe you will later on, and every little bit helps. And you can look at that, $10, pledge $10, get the comic book. If you can't get the figures, just get the comic book. Why not? They cleared their goal. Like these figures are gonna get made. The goal to unlock Spectral Milwick was 150,000. They unlocked it a little bit early. They're currently at 143. Just under 144. In the last half an hour, they might get a bit of a push here over the edge. But really, really excited for Matt, and really happy for Matt. He's just a super, super nice dude. And I wish him all the best with this line, and I hope that they can keep doing more lines. I know that they've got a bunch planned. So, congratulations to Matt on getting this funded, and he owns a toy line now. That's just a pretty cool thing. Not many people can say that. So, if you haven't already, like I said, jump over there and back that. If for no other reason than because I told you to. No, go and back it because it's really, really cool stuff. But Jeff Morris, I believe Balaverse is revealing the pricing on their vehicle at Joe Fest. Will be interesting to compare both offerings. Yeah, good point. I'm very curious to see. I'm very curious to see what their pricing comes in at for that vehicle as well, and sort of what they offer. But that's all I got, guys. You've got, like I said, about 30 minutes left to jump on over to the Defenders of Eden, Armies of Ashmore Kickstarter, and you know, tidy up your pledges. Make sure you got the Kickstarter exclusives. Just a reminder, the albino trooper Casper, named after Michael Casper, who was in the comments, the Spectral Milwick, and we believe the Blank Bucks are all going to be Kickstarter exclusive. So if you're interested in any of those at all, I would say avoid, you know, losing out, missing out, and going back them now. Don't wait until, you know, later. Even if they come up at some point a little bit later, you will already have secured them, probably at the cheapest price you're going to get them at anyway. So jump on over to the Armies of Ashmore Kickstarter and get your pledges in. Yeah. See you all later. Adam, let me know if you want a t-shirt. I'll see if there are extras. I might reach out to you because that is a really, really cool t-shirt. That's a t-shirt I would definitely wear, Larry. So I'll reach out to you after. That's all I got, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Like I said, a nice short episode today. Because I'm here, you know, all by myself, lonely old me. But it's been an absolute pleasure. It's always a great time to hang out and chat with you guys. Everybody that was live, thank you for your comments. Thank you for watching. Anybody and everybody that is watching in the replay, I appreciate you as well. Coming up, as I said, the HasLab's coming out, so we will probably be doing a video, whether that's tomorrow or Saturday, you know, to be determined. I will be on Legion's Lair in the Cabal Facebook, the Mythic Legions Cabal group on Facebook. You get what I mean. We'll be talking about Mythic Legions, so if you're into Mythic Legions and you enjoy hearing me, you know, rant and rave about toys, join us for that. There may or may not be another episode of AWOC Talk being posted tonight. That's to be determined as well. Rick's trying to finish up the edit on that. But next weekend, next Sunday, we will be doing another episode of Monkey Business, live AWOC chat. So tune in for that. It should be a lot of fun. That will, of course, be during Joe Fest weekend. There is bound to be some reveals because Spiro Toys is doing... my music just turned off there. Oh, well. Bound to be some reveals because Spiro Toys is doing Joe Fest, and I know that he's going to have some physical samples for some future waves and stuff like that. So we could have some really fun, really cool stuff to talk about. And by that, I mean, we will have some really cool stuff to talk about. That's not speculation. There's just cool AWOC stuff to talk about. So tune in for that. And am I going to be unboxing anything this week? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I do have stuff to unbox. I'll just have to see if it fits the schedule. You know, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, please hit the thumbs down, so that I know that I can be better. Too many of you give me thumbs up, and it makes me think that I'm basically perfect. But if you like the channel, please subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. And go back, Armies of Ashmore. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.